Check, guys. Tune in, share this around. We got John joining us today and the regulars. Hunter, Emma, James. Talking about innovation in the platform space. All right, guys, check. Welcome to the stream. Today, John joining us. Make sure you guys share this around. As usual, somebody's going to be getting a 50K Maven trading account. Emma is peacefully watching the chat there, so please give her a little grace. She wants to keep her peace today. Don't go too nuts in the chat here. We're going to talk about some pretty big things, right? So I have a feeling y'all are going to be getting too nuts. So keep it at bay. A lot of innovations coming into the space right now. We're seeing Matt L just launched a TV station to kind of mirror the Top Step station. We're seeing different firms popping up. We're seeing sports betting firms. We're seeing tech companies popping up. We're seeing different platforms coming back. If you know what I'm hinting at right now, I think we'll talk about that. And even people building their own platforms, white labeling all this jazz. And it's really an exciting time for the platform space. You know why? Because I don't know if I've seen any major issues in a long time. When was the last time you guys remember hearing, anything just crazy bad happening? Unexpected black swan events. Nothing, right?
Yeah. I haven't really heard of anything. I mean, all you got to do is go on Twitter, I guess, and then stuff will be there, right?
It's been a beautiful year. Sorry, John.
Maybe it has something to do with Twitter changing their algorithm. It's harder to find FUD these days.
Fun. Well, I'm not necessarily just talking about all the bullshit. I'm talking about in the early days of platform space, it was the Wild West, man. Everyone was hacking and slashing things together, finding any spare parts they got lying around and building whatever terminal they can out of it. And everything would, kind of build up and then things would collapse randomly. And it's been a good year, I would say, with nothing big, nothing major happening. So that means for the past year, a lot of firms have been building some really cool stuff. I know we got a dashboard on the way. That's an interesting one. Now, let's maybe just start off with some dashboard sort of talk. What's the significance of people having their own built in-house dashboard, John? What sort of advantage does a prop firm have if they're able to develop their own?
Well, it really depends on if they build it well or not, because it could be a massive disadvantage to build your own dashboard if it doesn't work half the time. For all of you who don't know, I come from a software engineering background, as does Hunter. We do things a little bit differently. Before we release things, we make sure that they work. We test them thoroughly. We don't want to be putting any traders in a bad spot where, all of a sudden the technology just stops working, because that's not good for the firm. That's not good for the end user, which is you, the traders. So there's that. But in terms of advantages, well, I mean, the most significant advantage is you can stop paying a third-party provider for services. However, the flip side of that is now you have to pay to maintain your dashboard. You have to maintain it with software engineers. You have to make sure that you have all the infrastructure set up. So it's a bit of an undertaking. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with firms running with third-party tech, if it's the safer choice for them to go down. But for some, it could bring advantages in the sense that if you wanted to come out with something completely new that doesn't exist in the space, you now have ownership of the code base to implement anything that you want. So in short, it allows you to be way more innovative.
Yeah, totally. And that is a project that we have been working on for the past year. Now, Maven is notoriously known for our current dashboard. That is just pretty much as bare bones as it gets. And there's another major firm that does something similar. And I think both James and I have traded on them as well as TopStep, is they pretty much don't have a dashboard. And for some reasons, some firms might opt for the option that, hey, let's keep the dashboard out of it and keep the challenge costs cheap for the traders, because a lot of traders might not necessarily need that dashboard when there are bigger pressing matters in the space. Now that there's been some kind of lull in the issues, right? If there's been a dry period of problems, so to say, right? And things have been great. We're able to work on those things a little bit further. Guys, I want to jump into the charts, actually. We need to look at this. James and I are going to take a peek here. Give me 1 second, pop this. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Here it is. Sweet. Charts, guys. NASDAQ absolutely pumping back up. And we're going to look at last week's close. It was quite beautiful. I was really watching to see, is this weekly candle gonna regain? Very obviously, you've got these 3 swing lows here that we needed to stay above, and it looked like it did that with ease. A nice bounce off of that gap that opened up, and it looks like we're now coming back up. All this area has been tested already, so potentially you're looking at some pretty good highs on the pump here. The monthly candle looking beautiful if it did close up this high, which is, we still got half a month left, so it's anyone's game in that ballpark. But overall, looking really solid on the NASDAQ. James, are we back above that moving average, or are we coming near it?
We are actually still below it on the NASDAQ, but this could be like a V bottom, on the daily time frame. So I like this for long-term buys, 100%.
Totally.
But yeah, we are still above that, below that 200 EMA on the daily time frame.
Did you pick up any buys on the NASDAQ or any stocks?
I did, not on any individual stocks as of yet, just on my ETFs. I did on longer term portfolio.
Yeah, good. Right off this, I would assume, right? It's very obvious.
I got him at the bottom. Yeah. Basically.
The very bottom. The funny thing is, I was kicking myself because I told myself I'm going to buy a bunch on the 10th. The 10th, man. And what happened is on the night of the 9th, it pumped up, and then I had to rebuy on this. So I was actually aiming to buy right here as it was dumping, and I did get some Tesla stock. So all of Tesla and all that jazz has been pumping up really nicely from that pump as well, and we've been averaging into Tesla, Palantir, all of these sort of individual stocks that boom really well when the NASDAQ does. Hood is another one. This is a trading Robinhood sort of stock.
Yeah.
And all that jazz. Are you looking at any individual stocks?
Your Mag 7 stocks mainly. I do like Amazon, Google, those type of your high your Mag 7 stocks. I think this core is going to be nice to buy long term.
Yeah.
Your Palantir, and maybe a stock that I do like, and it's not a stock advice, but is so far long term. So we'll see.
This has been absolutely killing it, and this might be a really strong wick, but you still have the really strong wick on the other side here. And it's just such a bullish market for Palantir that because of Trump in office, This is a really good investment just because he's probably doing a lot of data related things with the new inauguration.
Yeah.
That being said, guys, quickly looking at Bitcoin, we were looking at the lows of 72, and it looks like we nearly got there. So I would argue that, okay, potentially that was close enough. We got 74. People might have front runned it, and we are back in a kind of regained these zones. We're back on a bullish trajectory. All of this looks good for us to test that 94, 93 level. How about yourself, James?
Yeah, Bitcoin's been interesting. I haven't actually been following it too much recently. I've kind of just been following the indexes. So I can't, is this we have seen Bitcoin tend to move with US markets as well. Like if the NASDAQ comes down, Bitcoin tends to come down now as well. We are actually sitting at that daily 200 EMA on Bitcoin. So, maybe this bottom is in at about 75K and it holds there, right? So it would be quite a nice risk reward ratio trade back towards the highs. I mean, you got, 24,000 back to the highs and your stop would be 10,000. So that's over 2 to 1, right? If you are looking at that long term. I know you're a long-term holder of Bitcoin though, but it is going to be interesting to see how we react here.
Now, what's your take on, I know this is in the news here, Mantra, Ohm. Did you see that?
I did not. You're gonna have to educate me.
I know a lot of people are going to be asking this immediately after we're talking about crypto here for a second. Mantra all the way down 90% in a day, I believe. Singular day. Looks like a rug pull to me.
What was that other one that happened the other day? Was it Terra Luna or something? What was
the
that
other
one?
day? You mean 3 years,
4 years? 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's this stuff happens all the time, guys. Every single time there's a bull market, and it was a similar sort of thing in the prop firm space too. And people keep building on a what's the term? A deck of cards on building a deck
House
of cards.
Yeah,
house of cards, right? And the second the wind blows and collapses a little bit, it completely collapses underneath itself. And that just looks like another example. Probably
kind of like Hunter. It's kind of like my hair. As soon as the wind blows, it's
right on with that. Hey, yeah, ours is all slowly starting to fall out, guys. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about with charts, or I'm done with it? Okay, let's get on topic then.
Yeah.
Emma, why don't we just see if anything is popping up in the space, guys? Post your questions in the comments there in the YouTube chat. That's where we read mostly. We're talking innovation today. Emma's going to be reading alongside. Is there anything that's really kicking right off the top?
There's a lot of questions on what we think the best innovations are in the prop firm space right now. So I don't know if that's a good one to dive into to start off with.
Yeah, totally. With the space becoming very much more stable, there's not been a whole lot of challenge innovations from my point of view, where the challenge is slowly, everyone's challenges are basically evening out to be pretty much the same with a little bit of chaos here or there, right? But pretty much everyone follows the same sort of rules now. So the innovations in the prop space have to come from other means, right? One of those might be the platform choices. What else is popping in your guys' head?
Yeah, I was
essentially.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
Go ahead, James. No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just as John was speaking about the dashboard and everything like that, a lot of these things as traders can add up. If you're paying for a journal, if you're paying for a trade copier, these type of things, expenses can add up as a retail trader. And I think if a prop firm comes out with a dashboard that is like a trade journal, trade copier that's maybe built in and have everything in one, I think you're going to get the attention of traders. I think, is because you're basically doing things for the traders that are making it easier and more accessible for them to trade. So I think that's great. Just to echo of that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. I would totally agree with that. I would also agree with what you said, Hunter. I mean, a lot of things that have been like at a lull in the space is challenge innovation. There's nothing really that ground shaking or new that has come out recently. I think at this point, what's happening is a lot of firms are taking a breather from being in that panic mode where things are changing on a day by day basis, and actually seeing 1 second here, we have a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, this is becoming a real industry that is sustainable, and we can see proof of that by having traditional brokers enter into the space. Like, take a look at IC Markets, right? They jumped in. I mean, on vice versa, take a look at FTMO. They just bought a massive brokerage. I mean, that's incredible. So it's kind of a merger between those two industries. It seems it's the same industry. So, the runway is looking very bright right now.
The runway. I like
so,
it.
James, you made an interesting point in that it's kind of coming down to tech at this point, guys. The challenges are, somebody might come up with some little thing here and there, and then all the other firms might quickly copy it and then create their own version of it, right? The innovations aren't changing too much. You're basically trading just on different platforms. So your options are, innovation might be, okay, where are you trading? What assets are you trading? Challenges are all pretty much the same. So it's a matter of who can create the cooler tech, who can create the bigger, the more exciting stuff to trade on, who can create the better education platforms that are associated with the brand. And even there's other things that, some firms might offer is, hey, the salary thing. This was a big debate a couple of years ago. The flat salary, the monthly salary.
That is neat.
That's just insanity. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just a novelty that's going to make you buy. But the reality is, it just takes away from the actual asset of what you're doing as you're trading, because now they don't have as much money to put into payout splits for the actual profitable traders.
Yeah, I was going to say, so on that is that, I mean, I think as prop firm traders, because I'm speaking obviously as a retail trader myself, is that if a prop firm has fast payouts and great customer support, I'm going to trade with them. I think that's all what retail traders are kind of looking for. We don't need to have, fancy marketing or anything like that. We need fast payouts, reliable payouts, and great customer support. Maven, I mean, I go on Maven's, let's just say you go on the Maven's website, and literally within seconds, 30 seconds, you're getting answered, and then your payouts, never deny, never delay, you're getting paid out. So that's what prop firm traders are looking for, right? And then I think, as you were saying now about the innovations, like we've seen companies come in and offer these maybe easier challenges, and they don't last. You want to have something that where the company can benefit and make money, because at the end of the day, it's a business, and businesses are meant to make money. So you need to come in and have a company that can make money, so that can be sustainable, and traders that can make money as well. So it's a win-win for both situations. As soon as it's like, okay, they come in and you undercut everyone, well, that business is probably not going to be around in a year's time. Look at. I mean, John mentioned now FTMO. They bought Tawanda. This is a serious. Prop trading is a serious business. You don't just buy a massive top 5 brokerage, firm in the world, and without this being a serious, legitimate business. So yeah,
totally. That is actually a key killer point. Is one of the big innovations is prop firms are kind of taking over. They're getting so much more rich than brokers. It's a faster game, and this is only just the tip of the iceberg. These things are exploding. So an innovation might be that we take over the brokerage space. So let's dive into, a little bit about traditional sort of broker space. And, I know John really wanted to talk about, we're seeing meta trader come back and variations of MetaTrader come back. Now, John and I, we were discussing beforehand this meeting. There's a tricky little thing that's going around, and because this industry is so fast paced, many people might not be catching it. Is there something called Platform 5? Now, John, do you want to discuss on Platform 5? What the hell is Platform 5, and is that a new innovation?
Sure. Yeah. Platform 5 is MetaTrader. It's essentially, it's coming from MetaQuotes, but it is not licensed to be used the way that it's being used. And some firms are using it so that they can kind of skirt around the rules to offer MetaTrader when MetaTrader was not willing to work with newer prop firms. It seems that things have changed now. MetaTrader or MetaQuotes, the parent company of MetaTrader, is interested in working in the prop space. However, there is a very strict protocol that you have to go down as a prop firm to, gain access to this platform. So, I mean, some of the things that you have to go through is you have to go through compliance. You have to have a considerable amount of money to be able to get your own license. And what some firms have done, and I understand where the firms are coming from, but I don't agree with these methods at all. Some firms feel that, okay, well, we're losing revenue because we don't have MetaTrader. Let's face it, there are a significant amount of traders that will only trade on MetaTrader. We've had great success with Match Trade at Maven. A lot of our traders really love it, and in fact, most of them do. We also offer CTrader as well, so we haven't really felt a massive decline in revenue because we haven't been offering MetaTrader over the past year and a bit. But some firms, they want to juice out that extra 15 or 20% of revenue that they can get by offering MetaTrader. So how do they go about doing this?
Mhm.
How do they end up getting access to this platform that's not licensed to them to offer it to the trader, to the end user? Well, what I see from my perspective is they go to almost defunct brokerages.
Yeah.
Brokerages that have entered into the space, they legitimately have a license to MetaTrader. However, their revenues aren't doing well. Maybe they aren't marketing the right way. I'm not here to comment on whatever business decisions that they've made, but the fact of the matter is that they are looking for an additional source of revenue. So how are they getting that revenue? Well, they're either being approached by some firms or they're approaching some firms, the brokers themselves, and saying, hey, listen, we can make a deal. We'll sell you demo accounts that you can then use for your traders for $1 an account, $2 an account, whatever the deal is. But the fact is that MetaQuotes does not want you to be using their software like that. The prop firm was not licensed. They did not go through the strict compliance protocol. They did not pay MetaQuotes for those accounts. And I completely understand and agree why MetaQuotes is so strict with their accounts. You don't want just anyone having access to your software. It's a reputational thing, right? It could be used in improper ways. So what's happening is these firms that are trying to juice out that extra, 15, 20% of revenue, they're offering Platform 5. And I don't know if they're, they think it's a smart thing just because they're not mentioning MetaTrader by name, but it's still MetaTrader.
Now, John, let me break this down in a dumb money sort of way that maybe I could understand. And hopefully it makes it a little bit clearer for other people. The difference, what I'm hearing is MetaTrader is the fully licensed under your business name. Platform 5 is you're borrowing somebody else's license, right? Now, why as a trader do I care? Why can't I? Can I just use Platform 5? I'm happy, which is as long as I can use Meta.
Sir, it's kind of like this. I was thinking of an analogy, and I actually tweaked it a bit. So imagine you're 17 or 18 years old. I don't know. Let's say you're 18 years old. You're living at home with your parents. You don't have a car, but you want to make some money. You want to be an Uber driver. Your parents say, hey, listen, you can borrow the car to go run your errands or whatever. But that's it. Your parents have given you permission to borrow their car. Then you take your parents' car and then you go, be an Uber driver. So you're going against their wishes. You're using their vehicle. In the meantime, you're making money as an Uber driver. But eventually, when your parents catch you, you're gonna not only lose the car to be an Uber driver, but you'll probably lose the permission to use it for yourself. Mm-hmm. So what that means to the end trader is that, we've seen this a few times where all of a sudden Platform 5 just stops working. Well, why did it stop working? I'll let you come to your own conclusions there.
Interesting take. So it's a danger if I'm trading on Platform 5. I don't know when the parents are going to take away the key, and then all of a sudden that car is gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Essentially, that's it. That's right.
So
Hunter lag out.
Yeah, we lost him there. Oh, you're back.
Stopping firms from just going to medical.
So I can't hear him. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you're coming through.
Check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here
we
we
can
go.
hear you
Here
now.
you
Go ahead, Chris.
So why not just go directly to MediQuotes and get your own license?
Sure. And that's absolutely what you should be doing. It's going to be a lot of steps that you're going to have to take. It's going to take a substantial amount of money. But if you're a solid firm, you've done good business, you'll be looked into and you'll get approved. Of course. I mean, MediQuotes is a business just like everyone else, and they want customers as well, but they want to make sure that their reputation is protected. And I get that.
So this is a nutshell of what I'm hearing so far today is in the innovation side of the space is prop firms are slowly becoming real reputable businesses that have to start following the rules. We're not this Wild West crazy chaos anymore, and everything's kind of settling down. We're buying brokerages. We're starting to follow the rules of our licensed providers. We're starting to get little bits of dabble of some sort of, whether it not be regulation, but some sort of guidance towards the right direction for regulation, right? And it's really becoming, that's the innovation is, hey, prop firms are a real emerging market. We're not crazy chaos anymore. What else? Guys, I want to hear in the chat, what do you guys want to see in terms of innovation on maybe more the client side? Because maybe you don't care so much about the business side of things. What are we looking for in terms of innovation? And then I wanted to ask,
it's actually interesting that you actually bring this up, because one of my mates who trades on platform 5, well, I know he uses platform 5, it was freezing a couple of times and he couldn't actually get out of his positions because it was frozen for a couple of minutes, 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. And you don't know where, I suppose, that license is being signed from.
Yeah.
I'll leave you the liberty to not mention the name of whatever firm they were trading on, just so that we don't do any malice doings here. You know what I mean? Now, James, is there anything that you've seen lately in terms of other sort of innovations, maybe sort of tech side? Because you were mentioning journaling. Anything that you've noticed? Because I know you trade on multiple different firms. Or let's just keep that discussion going on the tech side a bit.
Tech side of things, not really. To be honest, like it's as I said, I think it's like the boom's kind of coming, and now it's right now I haven't really seen too many hectic innovations on the tech side. My side at least at the moment the ones that I trade with. Yeah,
I want to know if anyone's trading with VR headsets yet. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's a surefire way that you never have to go away from the charts for even a second. And I remember I talk about that is if you're not able to walk away from the charts for 15 minutes, and then you're either over risking or you care way too much about the trades that you're going to make a mistake anyways. So you should be able to walk away at any given moment without a stop loss and be fine for 15 minutes. Emma.
So that question you asked about what people want to see, I've gotten futures, trade locker, and MT5.
Yeah, perfect. So that's some good answers. First of all, that did remind me, the future space that has gotten so freaking attacked. There's so many firms jumping on the future space. Is this innovation? That's my first question.
I've seen a lot of, this is what I must say, I've seen a lot of, I've just recently seen another CFD firm come into the future space. So that's something that I have seen. A lot of guys, firms creating both CFD and futures firms. That's what I have seen.
Now, that even deepens the argument that I was just making before is, hey, prop firms are becoming a real business, right?
Yeah.
Futures is a whole different beast. You can't load onto futures with your grandma's car and just drive around for a while, because your grandma's car's got a boot on it and a club in the steering wheel, and your grandpa sitting at the end of the driveway staring you down, ready with his chainsaw. You can't get past it. You get down the driveway, but you're going right back inside immediately. That's the analogy. So futures is another. I suppose it's sort of innovation. And if you want to start looking at innovation in the space in terms of challenges, maybe let's take a peek. Like, what are the chances of the futures style challenges coming to the CFD space? I know a lot of people might want those end of day trailing instead of high watermark trailing. Some people might want live accounts scenarios. What are the chances of firms offering that?
Yeah, I'll just tell you from my perspective, I don't like the futures challenges.
You don't like
I don't
it?
like. Yeah, I don't like the trailing drawdown. I don't like the only thing that you can maybe argue for is that they're cheaper. And the reason why they are cheaper is because let's just look at a 50K account. On a normal 50K account standard, you maybe have 8 or 10% worth of drawdown, which is equivalent to about $4,000 to $5,000 worth of drawdown on a 50K account on CFDs. And it's static. Whereas with futures, you got $2,000 worth of drawdown, but it's trailing as well. I don't like it. I mean, even if I was given the option to trade futures, I'll probably still stick to CFDs personally. Maybe there's some innovation in what you mentioned in terms of traders going to a live account, live account, quote unquote, whatever you want to call that. Maybe that there is a pathway to that. And maybe that's this form of innovation that traders can see, because maybe it's like a reputation thing. Hey, I'm a live trader with Maven trading, maybe that is,
Yeah. Yeah, you would have to give some sort of incentive for the trader to be then pushed to live markets, right? Like a real live account, so that who is trading real funds and who is not. And that is a whole different beast in terms of different sort of rules that the CFD firm has to follow under. Because there's a reason why futures is a little bit more strict, is because you do need to kind of trade live funds at some point. You can't really have the simulated environment. It's not quite the same. If you're with the CME, you got to be pushing something to the markets.
Yeah.
Right? John, what's your opinion on that? You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, I think that when I'm looking at the future space, I think what I'm worried about the most, or what I see about to happen, and I think a few people have said this in the space, is that as the market gets saturated, the newer firms, or some of the newer firms, I'm not going to say all of them, because I think a lot of them are coming in with very sustainable challenges. You're going to see a few actors that are going to come in with these unsustainable challenges. We already saw one with fast track trading. They were a flash in the pan. Like, wow, did they grow and did they collapse fast?
Fast track to the ground is what they did.
They did. Yeah, they fast tracked to the top and then right down to the ground.
Fast track is what it was.
That's it. So, I mean, you're definitely going to see, I would say that the future space, you're going to see some of the same things that you saw in the CFD space play out over the next year, where you're going to see a little bit of rockiness. There's obviously some firms, and who they are, that are stable, and I can pretty much guarantee you they will be there year after year. But
there for a decade.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So they're going to be there next year. But I think we will see a little bit of shakiness in the future space. But that's normal, I think, with any new industry.
Let's discuss, because I know when people say futures, they're asking about, hey, is Maven bringing futures? What can we say on that? Can we say anything?
Let's just say the future is friendly.
The future is friendly, guys. Don't hold your breath for it. That being said, John, Emma, and I, and Seb, we've actually talked, and we've said, hey, this is a possibility that a lot of things can happen in the future space. And you guys know Maven's branding. We don't take any risk, right? So if it's something that we are going to go into, it's something that we're going to make sure that the fire is already settled before we get in, right? Because everyone's fucking packing in there like a can of sardines trying to get out of the driveway when there's grandpa standing on the edge of the driveway. Only so many people are going to get past grandpa. That chainsaw whips around fast, all right?
Yeah.
Well, you could tell we've been in Portugal for a while now. Sardines have just infiltrated our space.
Sardines it's hilarious. It is like the national food here is like a can of sardines, and they're all right, but
yeah, they are very good.
Frango chicken is the best And hopefully there's some Portuguese people watching in the audience. We went and met Kimmel. He's Portuguese, and also Jao from Journal. So there's a couple content pieces that are going to be coming in the future. If you guys
I know Kimmel. I think
Yeah.
Kimmel Trading.
Yeah, exactly. We went
Yeah.
we went to his house and had a barbecue, and a
Nice.
couple content pieces coming out on Maven channels and on my personal channel as well. So make sure you guys are following that. We're doing a little bit of a Euro tour, John and I. I think Emma, are you joining?
Yes, I am. I'll be there May 1st.
Yes, Emma's going to be joining. We're going to get all of us on a podcast together here. Emma, let's jump back into some questions. I know people are waiting for TradeLocker and MetaTrader, and I don't want to mention anything on that topic right now.
Okay. Well, we've gotten plenty of other questions just about general innovations in the space. One thing that I think is interesting that we never really touch on is someone was asking about AI integration into trading and the prop firm space in general. Do we think we're going to see more of that over the next year?
Yeah, this is really
Yes.
interesting because we were talking
Yes.
tech. Now, John, do you want to break that down even further? Because AI is the most innovative tech thing going down right now.
Sure. I mean, there's so many different ways you can integrate AI into trading. Some of them might be great, some of them might be disastrous. But yeah, I mean, just like with anything new, there's so many different ways that you can slice it. Whether it's actually an AI bot that could help you learn to spot different patterns in the charts. Maybe be a speedy, quick look for you. Remind you how much you're risking. There's so many different ways that can be sliced. What do you think? What do you think, Hunter?
Yeah. I would love some AI education built in. And simple things can go into once our dashboard's out, I would love to start putting in, so hey, look at my trade data. What am I doing wrong? Right. And you can start simply like that, and it can break down, hey, maybe try this on your next day of trading, and then see if the AI will watch you and say, hey, you might have corrected that slightly a little bit better this time. So it'll watch trends over time, so you can see, are you actually starting to follow some of the suggestions, and are those suggestions actually helping you? So it can be a automatic guided coach that literally tracks your trades in real time.
I like that, where you can basically ask look at my data, where do I need to improve from this date to this date, and it gives you actionable steps and feedback.
What did I do wrong this month? Why am I not making money? I feel like I'm trading poorly, right? And it could be as simple as sort of integration with ChatGPT right off the bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as you can pipe it that data, the AI algorithm is probably going to be able to help you somehow, right? And then we can build off of that, right? I know Maven is going down deeply into education sort of route. We have all these other things that we're trying to do as well, but we are the friendly educator buddy that's trying to make you profitable alongside. So that's definitely an option for later this year. Totally.
Yeah.
When are we going to see our first DMB, dumb money bot?
Dumb money AI. That's probably what it would be. So here's another thought that we were discussing, is an indicator, right? We were discussing an indicator the other day, weren't we, John? Just a dumb money indicator, right? That kind of helps you simply view where levels are, right? That might be helpful. And then you can kind of determine, hey, what's the trend? You know what I mean? And it can really break things down for you easier using, simple levels, right? That's another option. Or, we can have a different indicators built into the Maven sort of dashboard, where if we have a chart on the dashboard, it can plot, your trading strategy onto the chart too, using some sort of AI.
Just to follow up on AI, there's been a couple people who have asked if we ever think it would replace evaluations, like it would be an AI-based evaluation.
If we wanted to work solely with AI and AI robots, sure.
So yeah, if you want to work with a support, like think about it this way. Do you guys like when you go to a website and you go to contact support and it says, "Hey, talk to this bot," and there's nobody to actually talk to? That's the worst.
Yeah.
Holy, I hate it. And I help. I don't talk to these bots. They don't know anything. All they do is search for me. All they do is search the website and then send me the same old bullshit I've seen already. I want to talk to somebody, right? There's a reason why Maven doesn't use these bots. We have actual people you can talk to, right? So AI evaluation, I'm assuming that means checking, right? Checking the data. Well, how many times is it going to check the data and tell you failed and then there's nothing you can do about it, right? There's no customer support in AI, all right? It's a bot. It doesn't care. It doesn't care about what you want.
Yeah, the human touch is kind of necessary.
Yeah, so I think that's an idea for firms that do not care about their customers.
So we've also had a bunch of questions, and you kind of touched on this before, Hunter, about personalized trading and social trading specifically. So people are wondering if, as time goes on, prop firms are going to introduce more challenges that are maybe a little bit more personalized towards each trader's needs.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So there's one. The first things that come to my mind is challenges that are geared towards scalpers and challenges that are geared towards swing traders. With that, I don't know what other sort of styles of trading people would want. Whereas, like, unless somebody's asking, "Hey, I want a challenge that allows a martingale," I'm going to tell you flat out that's stupid, right? I hate that idea because martingale is a gambling strategy that makes you a worse trader because you don't know what the heck you're doing, right? The bigger you martingale, the more likely you are to win. You know what I mean? And eventually what happens is it blows all of your money no matter what, always, right? So why would a firm ever offer something that allows you to be a worse person? You know what I mean? Like, our goal as a prop firm is to make you a better trader. And if we promoted something that makes you a worse trader, we would be failing at our jobs, right? And ultimately, it would be creating an environment that is not sustainable, which then we will lose our company eventually, right?
That's right.
The only other things that pop into my head that actually might be useful is, hey, a challenge that might be geared towards a swing trader that might have no daily loss, but a smaller max drawdown, for example. That could be an option. Not huge. We haven't got huge demand for it, but things like that could be, or maybe a scalper's sort of paradise or something like that. Maybe you can only trade. I'm not sure what it would look like, but again, scalping is something that I don't want to promote. I would promote swing trading, however. Scalping is very high risk, volatile, and requires incredible emotional restraint. And I don't think people should be scalping on prop firms. I think feel free to go use that when you're fully advanced and you've been doing this for a decade, but not till then.
This through, and I think this is kind of an interesting concept.
Tokenized firms.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. I've seen this one place before, and it's interesting, but ultimately it serves no purpose, right? A lot of blockchain technology, or tokenized meaning like what's on the blockchain, correct?
I assume that's what they meant.
Yeah. So a lot of blockchain technology exists only because it's a new fad and it doesn't actually do anything. Like, why do you need to see all of the payments that people are paying towards the company? And why do you need to see all the payouts that they're doing as well? Other than for transparency purposes. But you don't necessarily need transparency purposes if you're dealing with the top companies. So that is only useful for a new shady company, and it's only useful for while they are doing payouts. So if they stop doing payouts, well, all of a sudden you're going to stop seeing those, but you've already bought the account, so you're screwed anyways, right? So it doesn't really help much because the reputation of the firm falls immediately once they stop making payouts anyways. So it's just kind of this huge thing that's not useful yet, but potentially in the future as blockchain becomes actually useful. What What about you, John? You know a little bit more about this than I do.
I think I agree with what you were saying. I mean, taking a look at the history of payouts that a firm has is just one set of data. You could have a firm, like for example, another great example, Fast Track Trading. Their payouts were massive. They were paying out millions of dollars a week, but then they collapsed almost overnight. So same idea, having it on the blockchain. It's a cool idea. It could potentially add transparency, but it's not the sole factor that you should be looking at when deciding to work with the firm, because it doesn't, just because they paid out for the past 10 days doesn't mean that they're paying out tomorrow.
It also kind of does a disservice in that the firm would be incentivized to continue to force payouts, potentially just to kind of simulate something to make it look like they're still in action. And for whatever reason, that could be a negative thing. Like example, maybe there's a holiday, like a simplest little thing like that. Maybe there's a holiday and they don't do payouts on the holiday, or some sort of bogged down in payouts, right? Maybe their payout service provider goes out for a short period or something like that. I'm just spitballing something like this, is to rely on a simple thing like that for the reputation is a huge issue as well, because it could very easily damage the firm and then thus cause everything to blow up too, right? Not necessarily a good idea for the firm side.
This one came through, which I think is kind of interesting. Do you think some prop firms are innovating just for marketing and not actually for trader value?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that we've always been back and forth with at Maven. When we have something new that we're going to release, we've been traditionally very quiet. We always follow the same pattern. We release first without telling anyone. We call that a soft launch.
Yep.
We make sure that everything is working as expected, and this is after rigorous testing internally. And then once we feel good about it, then we'll actually announce it. Where I would say there's a lot of firms. I'm not saying that this is the right or the wrong way to do things. I mean, marketing is marketing, but there's a lot of we got something big coming out in 2 weeks, and then just leave it at that. You don't tell them what it is, right? And you just keep giving them teasers.
Yeah. I think it's that goes back to that saying, right, John? Under promise, over deliver, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's easy to spot when someone's done it just for marketing purposes as well, because they'll announce it. It'll be fun for a week. No one will talk about it for ages, and then it gets phased out after 3 months if it's like a new challenge account or something. And you can just tell that wasn't for anything besides clout. So
yeah. Guys, speaking of announcing something's coming out in 2 weeks, I'm going to do exactly that and then tell you not what it is. There are multiple things coming down the pipeline. This whole stream, what we're doing right now is we're talking about the potential innovations that are coming. You guys already know what some of these things are and what things are coming out with different firms. There is more even than that coming out from Maven here in the next few weeks. Next week, we will potentially be announcing something. We are actually taking a break off of this space for next week, but the following week we will be continuing this space and doing even deeper into innovation. We are going to have a couple things launched by then, new things that we're trying out, and we want your guys' feedback on it. So make sure you keep your eyes on the Maven socials over the next 2 weeks. Just like John said, let's hype you up for 2 weeks. On the next space, we're going to talk about it. And then there's even more coming after that, boys. It's once this ball starts, we got it. It's going to snowball. There's a lot of cool things coming out this summer. Emma, let's end it off with one more magical question. I say magical.
One thing from me from when we're talking about Maven socials, if you start spamming Maven socials, asking us what we're doing, we're not going to tell you. Just letting you know, we're not going to tell you. So don't spam my team.
I was chatting on stream, and I really wanted to tell some people, and I didn't say anything like that. And they kept trying to guess what it was, and guessing different, like, drawdown rules and challenges and sales and all this jazz. And nobody's even come close to what we were thinking here. and it was just fun, so funny. The only thing I can say is it's a certain thing that we're working on right now is going to be a brand new thing, and it's going to be shaking the industry coming in May here, and it's very, very interesting to our current clientele. So everyone watching, you can get hyped up and ask Emma as much on social media what it is. And whoever gets her to answer gets a free giveaway.
Wow. Wow, just making our lives difficult, huh?
Guys, if you don't know the reference, I posted a photo saying anyone who gets Seb to reply to this post gets a free Maven account, and hundreds of messages in the morning, and Seb just never replies. He never replies to anyone, so it was quite funny. Emma, finish us off with one more.
Okay, we got so many good questions, so I'm sorry, guys, if your question was not answered.
Next
I have a list of 20. So
2 weeks, come back.
Yeah, let's end off with what challenges do you foresee in the adoption of new innovations within the industry, and what can people do to mitigate those challenges?
Well, with anything innovative, some things are going to be a hit and some things are going to be a flop. When they're asking what can people do to mitigate those challenges, are we talking about the people innovating or the traders buying the innovations?
I mean, I did leave it open-ended so that, we can kind of round off with something. But it does seem to be a little more focused on firms and firm innovations. Sure.
Yeah. As a firm, I would say don't make anything your silver bullet. If you are planning on your brand new innovation to be the savior for whatever is ailing your firm, that's not a good plan.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I want to get one more question actually from James. You deal a lot with really good traders.
Yeah.
What have the really good traders said they want to see from prop firms and yourself? Is there anything that's popping in your mind? Like what are we missing?
Yeah, I mean, again, as I said, most of the traders that are trading that I'm working with, they just want fast payouts and good customer support. I think that's basically what they don't want to have to submit a video proving that they're trading, that type of stuff, which we've seen in the space.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
for real.
No, bro, for real.
Yeah.
There's some firms that will make you do a video review of your trading and have to submit that, and then it takes still 2 weeks to get back to it. So I think
John, you should implement this.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I think, as I said, the traders that I'm working with, they just want reliable payouts, good customer support, and fast customer support. That's really it. It's not nothing too simple. As I said, I think we said it. I said it to John there. Under promise, over deliver, right? So that's what makes a good 100%. Business.
And we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. You had it at simplicity. We like to keep it simple here. We like to help you guys and offer legitimate business services. And that seems like the overall arching nutshell of today's topic is the innovation in the prop firm space is that there is not really any crazy innovations anymore. We are slowly becoming a stable industry. That being said, coming back with 2 weeks, we got some big innovations actually coming down the pipeline. So get your questions in store for April 29th. We're going to be back with the exact same four of us in the Four Corner Square. Emma, who won?
I will not be here on April 29th. I told you I won't be attending that space. So
you will not be. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna get Rexa to take your role then. We're gonna get my girl.
Sounds good.
Oh, hey, Hunter, where are we going tomorrow?
We're going to Lagos, guys. And that being said, we're going to wrap it up there. I'll see you guys on the Lagos podcast vlog. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next 2 weeks.